Good afternoon, dear lovers of painting and foreign languages. We continue our series of episodes within the framework of the cultural and educational project A Visit to the Museum. We see our mission in spreading knowledge about the significant artists of our small homeland, the Novosibirsk Академгородке, and their definitely impressive works. Let me remind you that the last year we were talking about Timofey Pavlovich Kozlov and his portrait of a world-famous scientist, outstanding mathematician and mechanic, founder of Академгородке, Mikhail Alexeyevich Lavrentiev. Today we'll have a talk about our local artist again and get acquainted with a painter who is called as an artist from our neighborhood by the residents of Академгородке, Nikolai Vasilievich Shagaev, and his work Spring in Академгородке. In fact, everyone here knows Nikolai Vasilievich, even if not by his full name, but because the artist was seen walking at the easel time and again. People saw him everywhere, in the very center among the busy traffic, and somewhere in the suburbs, on a clearing or by the open sea. So it seems that the appearance of Академгородке is inconceivable without this human attraction.
Shagaev indeed was a colorful character, a strong, almost athletic built man in his unchanging attribute buried. The fate of Shagaev wasn't easy. He was born back in 1913 in a large peasant family. In 1940, Shagaev was drafted into the army and from the very first day of the Great Patriotic War stood up for the motherland. He was wounded and surrounded. He made a heroic escape from captivity. In parts of anti-aircraft artillery, he liberated Smolensk and Belarus, stormed Königsberg, and celebrated Victory Day in East Prussia. He returned home a sick man, almost dead. And yet, the thirst for creativity won, and again returned him to the ranks of artists. Despite all the difficulties of life, the Shagaevs always had warm and friendly atmosphere at home. Smiles, light humor and kindness reigned there. This cherished attitude to life became the moral foundation of Shagaev's work. Therefore, perhaps his art, the Shagaev's art, is a life-giving song to the present, at the light of the natural beauty.
Let's take a closer look at one of Shagaev's works, Spring in Академгородке. Picture gives the feeling that the artist quickly sketched the contours of the future composition in black and white, and then, with large, confident strokes, one after another, formed the picturesque image of the May landscape. Nikolai Vasilievich painted without doubts and corrections. However, looking closer, we can see a pencil sketch under the paint, showing us how deliberate he was. Small, naturally entering the forest landscape houses of Академгородке provided the artist with eloquent pictorial material. The rapid flowering of nature after long winter evokes a jubilant symphony of colors. Pay attention to the variegation of the street. The house is bright red, yet the May Day solemn flags are even more saturated, contrasting with deep shades of green. The whole town of science seems to be so in tune with the rhythm of waking life that it appears as its natural extension. Notice that all shapes are basic: plain geometry of городок buildings, flagpoles, asphalt path, images of nature, people walking along the street, all of them worked out almost cursorily, without accurate drawing. Everything seems to vibrate in the breath of the wind, in an impressionistic play of color and light. It feels as though Shagaev was able to capture a riot of colors, aroma and form in a brush stroke. And moreover, the use of impasto further emphasizes an amazing fusion of red, white and green that captivates eyes with its harmony.
While walking on this landscape, Nikolai Vasilievich had two canvases, one for cloudy weather and the other one for sunny weather. He completed the painting in a few hours. As a rule, he completed almost all his works in 1 or 2 sessions. Such was his nature. Despite the apparent speed of drawing, his works cannot be called an etude. There is nothing accidental fleeting in it. It finished in its figural essence. in its emotional state and in its purely pictorial solution.
This naturalness of the picturesque reflection of the true atmosphere of Akademgorодке is the main advantage of Shagaev's art. We recognize in his canvases the real corners of the town and the open sea, familiar streets, and we are grateful to the artist for seeing poetry and beauty in them, which we somehow didn't notice and which today so admire in his canvases.